Hello and welcome to Moonlit Voyage. We are your hosts, Ali and
Olga.
we are just two people who love to dream, from common dreams to lucid dreaming and even past life experiences. We would like to share with you our personal dreams, unravel the meanings behind them, and how they can connect to our spiritual paths. In this episode, Olga shares with us a dream where she travels to a different planet in all its beauty and glory. She takes us to a setting where she battles and defends innocent everyday folks from harm. She calls it Mission to Venus.
Okay, so in this dream, I am. We're in a large building. I'm in a bathroom with a group of people, and I understand the bathroom is in a very large building, and in the lobby there are these people who are looking to take the group that's with me in the bathroom as hostage. But they're actually looking for us. They can't find us. They haven't discovered us yet, right? So I'm in there gearing up for when they actually find us and try to take us away. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. And I'd have to say there were about like 20 people in there, maybe even 30. There was a lot of people in that damn bathroom. I guess when the people who had entered the building and was going to take it over in the lobby, people scattered. And a whole ton of people went into the bathroom to go hide. Right?
And I'm sorry. So I'm trying to get the picture of it because at first I thought it was maybe like a bathroom stall from a bar or a restaurant. You're saying a building like a corporation building, like a business building?
Yeah, we're in a skyscraper building.
Okay.
But it has a lot of stalls. It's like a really big bathroom that holds a lot of people in it. Sorry about that.
That's right.
So there's like 20 or 30 people scouring like underneath the sinks and hiding in the stalls, and you know what I mean, like trying to hide so that when the inevitable happens and these people in the lobby come looking for us, that they won't be immediately found. So I am looking around and I'm like scrambling and trying to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to protect this? Because nobody here has a gun. Nobody here has, a weapon that I can tell. So I discovered this crawl space in one of the stalls. I went in the stall and I went up to this crawl space and I was like, okay, first of all, I'm not even sure how I'm standing in this crawl space because of my sheer weight. But I look in the dark and I recognize something, coming and moving towards me. And I quickly realized that it's actually my partner. And the partner was totally not human. It walked up to me and it was this huge blob. It was blue, actually. This blue blob that, said hello to me, and I had this whole conversation with it. And it was like I had two minds. There was the part of me of the person who's dreaming, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm dreaming this. And then there was the other part of me that was actually in the dream, and I was like, yes, he's here. My partner's here. We're all good now. So we jumped down from the crawl space into the back into the bathroom, and he morphs into like this warrior, and he had and he gave me, while we were in the crawl space, we had access to like just about anything that we wanted. I don't know how, but we just did. And he handed me a bunch of weapons. I had like this axe thing that I can't remember that I've ever seen anywhere, but it was like a double axe. So anyway,
like from the medieval times, some sort of.
It was like a axe / sword. So it was like and it was on two sides of it. So there was a piece like a rod in the middle, and on either side of it there were two sharp edges. Mm-hmm. They were thicker than a sword, right? Mm-hmm. But they were also pointy, like one, right? Okay. But it wasn't a full sword. It was like a half of one that was a lot thicker. It felt like it was an axe that, right, I could like chop somebody's head off with. So my partner came down with me, and everybody was shocked. It was like, what the hell is happening?
But he wasn't a blob anymore. He was.
Well, initially he didn't jump down as a warrior. He jumped down as a blob. So they saw what he was. And
Oh, okay.
then he morphed into this like warrior
Okay.
dude. And just as he did that, the people discovered where we were, right? We could hear them, right? Because we had barricaded the door. We could hear them entering. And man, there was a fight. We kicked their asses. It was so good. He and I were able to defend the group that we were with, and we defeated all of them. Like, they just kept coming.
The two of you?
Just the two of us.
Oh, wow.
It was the two of us. And some of the tools that we had found, or the weapons that we had found, we brought some of them with us. So we had enabled some of the people that were with us who were willing to fight with us. So when I say we were alone, it was just the people that were in the bathroom with whatever weapons that we had. We didn't have enough for everyone. And then the two of us. But it felt like we were the only two that knew how to fight.
Okay.
Right? And to actually use the weapons to the best of their, capacity. So we just kept fighting. We kept fighting because the only way that they could get in was through that one door, right? So they just kept coming and coming, but it was a narrow chute. It was almost like we had the disadvantage of being trapped, but we had the advantage of them not being able to all come in at once.
Through the bathroom, to the bathroom
To
door,
the bathroom, right? So they just kept coming, and we kept defending, and we basically defended ourselves until every last one was gone. And then I looked to my partner, and he looked to me, and he turned back into a blob, like into his true form. And then we were like, okay, peace, we're out.
To
To the people that were there, we were like, okay,
you're safe now.
you're safe now, you're good. We're gonna make our way back to back up to the ceiling. And we said our goodbyes, and they were all very thankful, and it was great. And we went back up into the ceiling, and then we got to like this elevator chute, and it was like it felt like it was, like in the movies, in the old buildings where they had like the waiters trolley, right? Where they would transport like dishes or meals or whatever. In very olden times, it was similar to that, but enough for a human being to be in. It was big enough for a human being to be in. So it was almost like it was an elevator, but it was more set up like that. So anyway, we're in this thing, and we take off, and it's going fast. It's going shoot, 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 and it felt like we were like going past floors, right?
Yeah.
In the building. Come to find out, because there's a little window, right? I'm on the window side, and I'm looking over the window, and we're not in a building. We're not even in a building anymore. We're just going
in the air.
I can see, and I can see the city below us.
Wow.
Right? And then it stops, and because we're in this thing for like a really long time, it stops, and then we're able to get like, there's this, I don't know, it's hard to explain this, like this concierge cart that shows itself, and we're able to take sustenance from it, so that we could eat on our travels, like on our way back to, I don't know, wherever it was that we were going. I didn't know where we were headed. I didn't know where we had come from. I didn't know why we had gone to where we had gone, except to fight those people and to kind of help and protect. But I know we were going back to where we had come from. So we take our snacks, and I think from there were 2 more pit stops, right, where we were getting fed, and then we arrived, right? And as soon as the elevator stopped, it was a very like distinct knowing that we had gotten to our destination. And then we popped out of the top, and as I did that, I was greeted by my wife. So I'm still a female, and my wife is there, and she is not happy with me. She was like, listen, you said you were only going to be gone for a certain amount of time, whatever it was, and she said it like a few days, and now you're here late, and our guests are already here. You have to hurry up. You have to get out. You have to get dressed. Come on, hurry up. And she's like upset because I had missed something with our daughter. There was an event that my daughter had, and I had missed it, and it made me feel very much like that, like this was my job. This thing that I do, getting in this elevator, going down into other, onto other planets, that's my job. That's my my day job, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that I returned back to
Right.
this planet that I'm now in right now, where I actually have a family and I have a life and I have, right?
Wow.
And I instinctively knew that it was an all-female planet, right? And I instinctively also knew that it was Venus, that we had landed on Venus. And by now, my partner, who was in the elevator with me, he just magically disappeared. I don't know, it's a dream. So we walk on like this. Think of like the escalator or those belts that you get on at the airport.
Yeah,
right?
those.
So we're on that thing, and it's like carrying us. So although we're walking, it's going much faster.
Oh.
And then I look down and I have an intention in my mind to change my clothes, and I just do. I just like in my mind, I'm like, okay, you need to be dressed for the event, and so I did that, and it just magically changed. And she and I are in these gorgeous dresses. Oh my god, we were dressed like we were going to an evening like ball gown. Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was so pretty, and she was beautiful, and it was beautiful. It was really, really nice. We were a really good couple. Only, and I knew that I had to get on her good side because, again, I was late and we had people waiting for us, and she was really pissed off. And I had done this apparently many times. And I also instinctively knew that she was a little bit jealous of my job, but I had to smooth it over with her. So we walk towards our guests, and they're at a round table, and it's about, I don't know, a good dozen to 20 people that are there. And we're now at a black tie event, and we're all celebrating something that's going on my planet. I'm not clear. I can't remember what it is right now, but we are apparently the hosts, meaning my wife and I are the hosts. And I go to sit down, and then the dream is over.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah. I had a hard time with this one because the symbolism, I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
There were so many different things. It was very colorful. So it was a little bit of unraveling. And I think that it's better if I just kind of give a little bit of a backdrop. So the instinctive feeling that I was on Venus and that it was an all-female, planet, I didn't know yet. It wasn't until months after I had had this dream. So I was just taking the whole, jumping up on Venus for what it was. It wasn't until months later that I actually spoke to Venus. Yeah, and that I understood that was one of the places that I've lived at some point in my travels as a being that I had inhabited the planet Venus. I also understood. So I'll just take you through some of the symbolism. So some of what I understand to be our human experience is that we are, souls that inhabit a body, animate the body, and that many of us, the closer that we are to our soul, the closer that we are to some driven mission of some sort. And usually the great ones, or the ones who you would call masters, are the ones who are of service both to self and to others. And that I was on that's the kind of mission that I was on. And that the saving of the people in the bathroom was really just a symbol for me coming into or searching for my mission, and knowing that I am not relegated. I don't, I can come to the understanding that I'm a multi-dimensional being who inhabits either in the past or simultaneously on other spheres, if you will. And that the setting of the bathroom and the bathroom, when you look up the symbolism for the bathroom, it means a lot of different things. But in this particular dream, it felt like emotional, right? Because the bathroom is where you go to get clean. It's where you go to also relieve yourself. This was not a bathroom where you are taking showers. So it's not that kind of getting clean. It's more of like a releasing. And so there were people who were trapped in a scenario where they were trapped in a place where they are supposed to be relieved, that is used to relieve yourself, and being held hostage. Right? So in my role as a fighter or a warrior, it was to help to liberate people who needed to release trauma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And again, this was one of those dreams that didn't really reveal itself right away. I could remember it with all detail, but it slowly over time told me what it meant. So the person that was in the dream, so the blob. so let me, before I even get there, so the people in the lobby are supposed to symbolize the construct. So the building is the environment, right? So the building is, what you would deem to be very constrictive. So like, it's not like it's a house, a private house. It's not like it's the beach. It's not like
not a cozy
beach house.
place.
It's not a cozy place. It's a very what you think of a a
Order,
place where people
discipline,
go. Exactly.
control.
In that people are doing 9 to 5s, they're making money in order to be able to survive and blah blah blah, but in a very constrictive kind of scenario, and that the people in the lobby were coming for these people or these hostages, with an understanding that I was there with an understanding to try to liberate them from their trauma, so that they could then leave that construct.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
I have further thoughts about that, because I think I've come into mission since having this dream. But that's what the dream was revealing, so that they could then be released into the world to be able to go and do what it is that they are meant to do. And the gentleman who was helping me, the blob, symbolized someone who is able to morph who they are. In other words, play different characters in their missions. Before that character, I didn't even know that was it symbolizes the ability for someone to morph from one thing into another, to be able to change and take on different characteristics given a certain circumstance.
Right.
And I wasn't a blob, it was my friend, but I think it was there to illustrate that for me. Right?
I was about to ask you, do you think you were also a blob and you just didn't notice? But
No, I definitely felt like I was undercover. Yeah. I definitely felt like the people who were in the bathroom didn't know who I really was. And in that way, I was in a level of camouflage. But I was definitely not a blob. And I think, it illustrated for me the different ways that you can camouflage. You know what I mean? Like, that was a very overt way of illustrating it for me in the dream and symbolizing it. And I think that's just what that meant. To just marry that I'm also camouflaged. I was almost also camouflaged in the dream. Just kind of, and we were one. So since we were partners, there's a correlation there.
okay.
Yeah. The crawl space felt like it was, because it's above. It's not like we went, I don't know, and like went and found a closet somewhere with some tools in it or some weapons or what have you, because this is a dream. Everything is possible, right? Instead, or went down into a hatch in the ground or anything. We went above. So it felt like, however, violent that it got, right? Because it wasn't any blood and gore or anything like that in the dream. It was more that the tools they played themselves for me as more symbolic, as tools to fight with, but that the crawl space was supposed to be another dimension that was a little bit higher. So there was this obviously alien blob being that came from another dimension to come in and assist.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of when you were describing that part that you guys had to go up and get the tools? It reminds me of that part of the Matrix when it's all white and Morpheus is talking to Neo and he's like, yeah, like, what do you need? Look at all these like guns that you can get. It was like some sort of intermission.
In between.
Yeah.
It was like this weird in between place that the other people in the bathroom didn't have access to.
Right.
Yeah, so it was definitely a place, and he wasn't automatically in the dream. He was just kind of waiting in this other space for me to come there, to liaise with him, to bring him down to where we were.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like it's so, because otherwise I would have just been like, "Hey, yo, come down, it's time." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I physically had to go up there to go get him, get our stuff, bring the two, and then bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
And the tools, they weren't really weapons. They were more like tactics and tools that we would use for
defend
healing,
yourself.
to defend yourself. Yeah, and a bunch of things came to mind when I was deciphering the dream. Discernment was one of them. Being able to create boundaries was another, right? So although it was showing itself as actual fighting, there was definitely an element of defending, and the weapons weren't quite weapons, but they were more tools and tactics for how to go about doing that. So to move forward, to fast forward a little bit, we ended up going back up into this crawl space after our mission was pretty much over, and climbed into this elevator. And it reminded me of when I connect, right? When I connect to spirit, when I'm in meditation and I can feel, all of my thoughts drop away and I am in another space. I'm in another headspace, if you will. And that's what that kind of represented, right? And everything was up, right? So that also meant for me that it was a frequency shift. You can look at it as one of two ways: as a physical sphere that I went to, or a shift in my frequency into a higher frequency and vibration in order to be able to have another experience, right? But overall, going to this sphere, and then it being a sphere that's of all women, was clear, right? It's the divine feminine kind of coming to earth as a warrior, if you will, of sorts, to heal trauma, and it's not all of the work that you do here on earth is not all that you are. You are here on task. You are here on mission when you decide to come into a body. And the goal is to help as many people as you possibly can.
So it sounds it's metaphorical and as well as an experience, if I understand correctly. Like it could pretty much did happen. You did go to another planet in conscious and in your spirit, but then there's also the symbolism that that you are here now to do this and this. Like we are all here we have a mission to this earth, and this is how it presented to you, right?
Right. When I study when I study astrology, and you learn about each of the planets and the messages that each of the planets have to give, when I went into meditation to get the meaning of this dream, the major theme, more so than me believing that I'm, talking to Venus, or that I'm from Venus, or that, I have Venus incarnations, right? Which are all, weaved into this as well. Even more importantly than that is that we are influenced by the other spheres, right? And that there are, even if it's just energetically, or if it's by way of how each of our souls are touched by the energy, that divine feminine, the Venus energy is here on the planet. It has been thwarted, and it's not just because of matriarchy, and there's a whole story behind that. There's been a time for the divine masculine to be in more control, and I think there's a time and a reason and a space for that, but that the divine feminine has also reemerged and is making herself a little bit more known, right, on Earth at this time, because it's time. In my dream, in my perception, my subconscious, it came through as a warrior, someone who has to defend, right, and protect. And I think that's a part of what she does, right? And one of her weapons and one of her tools is healing.
Healing, yeah.
Right.
The feminine energy.
Right.
You're saying, yeah.
Right. It took me a long time to kind of figure out why a bathroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if divine feminine is going to come in anywhere and help people, why would it be the bathroom? But my subconscious made a connection to the bathroom being a place of cleansing, a place of letting go of things, clearing. It's a lot of water running in the bathroom, right? And it was a clean bathroom. It was orderly. It was clean. There wasn't anything foul going on that I could actually connect to. It was all white. I don't think I said that in the introduction.
No.
It was an all white bathroom, tiles, doors, everything. So it was in pristine condition.
Okay.
It was in a really nice, right? So and that's what led me to the understanding that it was kind of, more of a spiritual, emotional cleansing, trauma, healing, divine feminine, kind of a thing.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. And we'll have fun on the next one.
Great. Now, there's more than one way to interpret this dream, Mission to Venus, as a metaphor on how she goes to great lengths to help people. The possibility that this dream was a memory of another lifetime or an illustration of time travel. We'll leave that up to you. Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, we invite you to wake up through your dreams. We would love to hear from you, so feel free to leave your comments, questions, or suggestions below of what you would like to hear next. Click the subscribe button to our YouTube channel and receive notifications for additional thought-provoking content.